Hello everyone. Today, we will talk about 5 special quarters from the United States that some people say are worth a lot of money, even thousands of dollars. We will learn about where these coins come from, their background, and see if those big prices are real or not. If you like coins or want to know if the coins in your pocket might be valuable, this video is for you. Let's get started. First up, we have the 2021 D Tuskegee Airman quarter, and this one has gotten a lot of attention lately. Some people say it's worth as much as $1,500, but is that really true? Let's break it down and find out why collectors are talking about it. You might even want to check your pocket change after watching this. This quarter was made in Denver, that's what the little D means on the coin. It was the final coin in the America the Beautiful series. The design shows a Tuskegee Airman getting ready to fly, with an image of the Moton Field Control Tower behind him. That's the historic training site for the famous Tuskegee Airmen, the first black military pilots in U.S. history. These men not only served with honor during World War II, but also broke barriers and fought against discrimination at the same time. So this coin has real historical meaning, which makes it special to many collectors. Now, let's talk about the value. Most regular 2021 D Tuskegee Airman quarters that you find in change or rolls are not rare. In uncirculated condition, that means it looks shiny and unused. It usually sells for about 60 cents to $1.50. That's not bad for a quarter, but it's nowhere near $1,500. So where does the $1,500 price come from? That number is likely greatly exaggerated, unless the coin is in perfect condition or has a very rare error. And yes, there is a special error on this coin that some people call the burning building error. On this version, part of the building behind the airman looks like it's on fire or has smoke rising. This strange look is caused by a mint error, like a die crack or strike through. This error version is very eye-catching and collectors love unusual mistakes like this. Because of that, coins with the burning building error have sold for anywhere between $100 and $350 online, depending on condition. One listing on eBay showed a burning building quarter that sold for over $300. Others have sold for a bit less, but still much higher than face value. That's why it's important to check your coins closely. The most valuable ones are usually in top condition, what collectors call MS or mint state grades. If your quarter looks perfect, with no scratches or wear, and has that strange smoke-like effect on the building, it might be worth sending to a grading company like pcgs or NGC. They can give your coin an official grade, which helps it sell for more money if it's rare. Just remember, if your coin looks normal and doesn't have the error, it's probably not worth more than $1 or $2. But if you spot something strange or it looks like smoke is coming out of the building, hold on to it. You could have a nice little treasure. Keep watching, because we've got even more quarters coming up that people say are worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Some of them might actually be in your change right now. Next, let's take a closer look at the 2015 Blue Ridge Parkway quarter. Some people say this coin is worth up to $1,000. That's a huge number for a coin you might find in your pocket or coin jar. But is it true? And what makes this coin so interesting to collectors? Let's find out. This quarter was made in 2015 at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why it has a small P on the front. It was part of the America the Beautiful series, just like the Tuskegee Airman quarter. This coin features a beautiful view of the Blue Ridge Parkway, which is a famous and scenic highway that runs through the Appalachian Mountains. On the back of the coin, you can see a winding mountain road going through a tunnel, with trees and wildflowers all around. It's a very peaceful and detailed design, and it stands out to a lot of people who enjoy collecting coins with strong artwork or nature themes. Now let's talk about the price. Most of the 2015 Blue Ridge Parkway quarters are not rare. If you have one that has been used in regular pocket change, it's usually worth just 25 cents. Even uncirculated ones, the shiny, never-used versions, usually sell for about $1 to $3 depending on the condition. You can often find rolls of these quarters sold online by the bank box or in mint sets. So why are people talking about a $1,000 price tag? In most cases, that high value only applies to very specific coins, like those with rare mint errors or in perfect condition. One example would be a coin graded MS68 or MS69 by a professional grading company like pcgs or NGC. MS stands for mint state, and higher numbers mean better condition. Coins with grades above MS67 are hard to find and can bring in higher prices at auctions. Another reason a Blue Ridge Parkway quarter could be worth a lot more is if it has an error. For example, coins that are double-struck, off-center, or have die cracks can sell for much more than face value. A few of these types of error quarters have sold online for hundreds of dollars, depending on how dramatic and rare the mistake is. But these are not common. Most people will never find one like that. Some sellers on the internet list this quarter for $1,000, but that doesn't mean someone will actually pay that much. A real collector wants proof, either a rare error or a perfect grade from a trusted grading company. Without that, it's just a regular quarter. So if you have a 2015 Blue Ridge Parkway quarter, check it carefully. Look for any strange shapes, doubling, missing designs, or anything that looks like it was printed wrong. Also, check the coin's condition. If it looks perfect with no scratches, dents, or wear, it could be worth sending in for grading. Even though most of these coins won't bring in $1,000, some rare ones have sold for high prices at auctions. That's what makes coin collecting exciting. You never know what you might find hiding in your spare change. Now let's take a look at the 2003 D Alabama quarter. Some people say this coin is worth as much as $3,000. That sounds unbelievable for a quarter, right? But there's a reason this coin gets a lot of attention. It has a powerful design, some interesting features, and a few rare versions that can sell for high prices, if you're lucky enough to find one. This coin was released in 2003 as part of the 50-state quarter series. It was made at the Denver Mint, which is why it has a small D on the front. The Alabama quarter honors Helen Keller, who was both deaf and blind and became a world-famous author, speaker, and activist. She was born in Alabama and became a symbol of strength and hope for people with disabilities. The design shows Helen Keller sitting with her name written in English and also in Braille, which is the raised dot system used by blind people to read. This is the first U.S. coin to feature Braille, which makes it really special. There's also a longleaf pine branch and a camellia flower, which are state symbols of Alabama. The coin is beautiful, meaningful, and very popular with collectors, but what about the value? A regular 2003 D Alabama quarter that has been used in everyday life is usually worth just 25 cents. Even if it's in great shape and uncirculated, the value is normally around $1 to $3, maybe a little more if it's super shiny and clean. So where does the $3,000 price come from? In most cases, that number is only true for a coin that has either a rare mint error or an extremely high grade. For example, some 2003 D Alabama quarters that were graded MS-68 or MS-69 by pcgs or NGC, which means they are nearly perfect, have sold for hundreds of dollars. These high grades are very hard to get, and that's what makes them valuable. In auctions, a perfect coin can bring in big money, but only if the buyer really wants it. There are also a few rare errors out there. Some Alabama quarters have off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing or pushed to one side. Others may have double dies, where parts of the design are doubled. These types of mistakes happen during the minting process and are not very common. A coin with a strong error and good condition could sell for a lot more, but again, it depends on how rare and dramatic the error is. You might see people listing these coins online for $1,000 or even $3,000, but that doesn't mean they actually sold for that much. Always check real auction results, not just asking prices. A coin is only worth what someone is willing to pay. So if you find a 2003 D Alabama quarter, take a close look. If it has no errors and is in average condition, it's a great coin to keep but not super valuable. But if it looks perfect or has something strange going on with the design, it might be worth checking out. You could be holding a rare find that collectors are looking for. Now let's take a look at the 2008 P Arizona quarter. Some people say this coin is worth around $1,100. That has made a lot of collectors and everyday people go back and check their change. But the real value depends on the condition of the coin and if it has any special errors. This quarter was made at the Philadelphia Mint, which is what the P means. It was released in 2008 as part of the 50-state quarters program. Each state got its own design, and Arizona's features a picture of the Grand Canyon, one of the most famous landmarks in the United States. In the front of the design, there's a saguaro cactus, which is native to the Arizona desert. The words, Grand Canyon State, are written at the top. The design is simple but very detailed, which is one reason collectors like it. But when it comes to value, most regular 2008 P Arizona quarters are not rare. If the coin has been used in daily spending and shows signs of wear, it's usually worth just 25 cents. Even if the coin is in uncirculated condition, meaning it hasn't been used and still looks new, the value is usually between $1 and $3. These coins are still easy to find in rolls, coin jars, or from banks. So where does the $1,100 number come from? That higher value is only for special cases. A 2008 P Arizona quarter could be worth hundreds or even over $1,000 if it has a rare mint error or if it has been graded very highly by a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC. For example, one Arizona quarter graded MS68 sold for a high price at auction. Coins in MS68 or MS69 condition are almost perfect, with no marks or scratches under close inspection. There is also one well-known error that some Arizona quarters have. On some of these coins, there are extra cactus leaves that weren't supposed to be there. This is caused by a die break. A small piece of the coin press tool breaks off and creates an extra raised area on the coin. These extra leaves appear near the bottom right of the cactus. Some collectors call it the extra cactus error. Coins with this error have sold for more than $100, depending on how strong the extra detail looks and the coin's overall condition. If the coin is in good shape and has this error, it could be worth much more than face value. That's why it's important to look closely at the cactus on your Arizona quarter. A small detail could make a big difference. Just like other coins, prices you see online don't always match real sales. A seller might ask $1,100, but the actual sale price depends on the buyer, the condition, and whether or not the coin is graded or has an error. Always check recent auction results or get the coin checked by a professional before assuming it's valuable. So if you find a 2008 P Arizona quarter, take a close look, especially at the cactus. If you see something extra or unusual, it could be a rare variety worth collecting. Now let's look at the 2000 P Virginia quarter. This one gets a lot of attention because some people say it's worth as much as $7,000. That's a big number for a coin you might find in your change. But like the other coins we've talked about, the real value depends on condition, grading, and whether or not it has a rare error. This quarter was released in the year 2000 as part of the 50-state quarters program. The P on the coin means it was made at the Philadelphia Mint. The design on the back of the coin shows the three ships that brought settlers from England to what is now Virginia. These ships were called the Susan Constant, the Godspeed, and the Discovery. The coin also marks the year 1607, when Jamestown was founded, the first permanent English settlement in America. The design is full of history and is very detailed, especially with the ships and the water. Because of its historical theme and clean design, a lot of people like to collect this quarter. But most of the regular 2000 P Virginia quarters are not rare. If your coin has been used or shows wear, it's probably worth just 25 cents. Even in uncirculated condition, most of these coins sell for around $1 to $3. So, what about the $7,000 price tag? That number comes from a coin that was graded by PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, as MS69, which means it is almost perfect. That grade is very hard to get. Most coins made for circulation don't come anywhere close to that level. The coin that sold for $7,000 was in top condition, with no marks, no scratches, and perfect luster. It was also slabbed and certified by a trusted grading company. Outside of high grades, there are also some error coins from the 2000 P Virginia quarter. One example is a double die error, where the letters or images appear slightly doubled due to a mistake in the minting process. Another type of error is an off-center strike, where part of the design is not lined up correctly. These kinds of mistakes can raise the value of a coin, depending on how big the error is and how good the overall condition is. Some of these error coins have sold online for $50 to a few $100s. Not every error is valuable, but if it's clear and easy to spot, collectors will often pay more for it. The combination of a strong error and high grade makes a coin more desirable. Just like with the other coins we've talked about, many sellers list the 2000 P Virginia quarter at high prices online, but that doesn't mean it always sells for that amount. It's important to check real auction results or have the coin looked at by a professional before assuming it's worth thousands. So if you have a 2000 P Virginia quarter, check it carefully. Look for doubling, off-center designs, or anything that looks unusual. And if your coin looks perfect with no marks, it might be worth sending in for grading. So there you have it, 5 quarters with big claimed values. Some claims are likely too high, but the 2000 P Virginia in MS69 really did sell for $7,000. If you own any of these, don't assume they're worth huge, get them graded by a professional, PCGS, NGC, etc. Look for certifiable auction records before believing huge price tags. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you want me to dig into any other rare coins. See you next time. Happy coin hunting.